A very pleasant evening to one and all present here. Today, I, Raghav, on the behalf of Idio Minerva, welcome you to the day 2 of our event, Cheat Sheet to Placement, with the topic Talk with Our Seniors. Idio Minerva, founded in 2019, is a non-technical society of Bharatiya Vidyapeeth College of Engineering. We believe that the right guidance and exposure provided at the right time can effortlessly pave anyone's way to a successful future. Our society aims to provide updates on competitions, conferences and journals, scholarships and fellowships, internships and training. So, the agenda for today is to have an open discussion with our college alumni who are placed in dream companies like EY, ZS, TCS, and many more. We will be starting off by inviting our seniors one by one to share their experience about placement and how they got there. We will also be taking up questions post the session in the next half of the webinar. So make sure to drop the questions in the chat box. I also request the attendees to stay till the end as the feedback form link will be shared at the end of the session. And we have something special for you guys. Our team has curated exclusive placement related material for the preparations of various companies. These materials were used by some of our successful seniors during their preparation for the placements. So now, without further ado, I would like to welcome our first alumnus, Mr. Dipanshu Sadhwani, who is placed in TCS Digital and is also a data science intern at various international companies in Germany and New York. He has also worked with more than 15 foreign clients. He's a freelancer at Fiverr and was a machine learning intern at iNeuron. I would like to welcome Dipanshu sir to begin the session and request all the attendees to keep themselves muted. Over to you, sir.
Hello, I'm audible to all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for the introduction, Raghav. Okay, so hi all. This is Dipanshu. I'm going to join TCS Digital in the upcoming month. And last year, when our placement campus placements are going on, I got selected for 3 to 4 companies, namely as Cognizant, Comviva, TCS Digital, and ThoughtWorks. But unfortunately, I couldn't able to make on ThoughtWorks. Okay. So today what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to guide you all for the main companies which are like Cognizant, TCS Ninja, TCS Digital, Comviva, maybe somewhat for the ThoughtWorks too. Okay, that's great too. So first of all, I will take Cognizant and Comviva. Okay. So for Cognizant, look, the thing with Cognizant is Cognizant will give you really very easy paper. It will be compared, it will be included with aptitude, reasoning, English, essay writing, and the code completion part. And luckily, what you have been given with the AD Minerva placement material, you all will be getting those material for sure. Even when we were doing the preparation, all seniors had that material, and nearly about 196 students could able to crack Cognizant. The package for the same is 4 LPA in the probation period and 4.5 after the probation. It is really easy to crack. Cognizant is really easy to crack. The material is present with you. The aptitude exam is really easy. The code completion is very easy. Also in the interview part, for the EC people, they will surely ask you about the basics of electronics, which would be transistors, diodes, and etc. For CSE and IT people, they will surely ask you about IT things. So do remember to learn about the basics of all these things. And the interview is going to be really very easy. Do remember to prepare your projects very well, and DBMS for sure. They would be asking DBMS for sure, and one of your programming languages like say Java or Python or maybe anything. Okay, and do remember that DBMS is really very important. In my each and every interview, they ask me about DBMS. So do remember to to do DBMS really good. Okay. The same with will go for the Comviva too. Comviva actually pays you nearly about 3.5 to 3.6 LPA package. It's a Mahindra company. It's a good company. They actually give you good amount of increment after years and years. Okay. So material for the Cognizant and Comviva would be same. The exam would be conducted on AMCAT for sure. I'm not really sure where they would conduct the exam. Last year they conducted their exams between September, October. Okay, starting of October. I really don't know the can't get the dates. But yes, Comviva and Cognizant, they are really very easy to crack. Comviva actually hires 14 to 20 students, between 14 to 20 students, and even last year it come for two times because first time the people who actually got selected, no one actually joined the company. We really don't know why we did so. Okay. So Comviva, it is done for Comviva and Cognizant. Again, if you are not really good with BSA and machine learning, cloud technology, blockchains, you are not really good with these stuffs, you can easily crack Cognizant for sure. Cognizant is really very easy to crack and it hires lot of amount of people from our college. The conversion rate of Cognizant, no, I think nearly about 220 to 230 people could able to crack the exam, and out of that 196 students got the offer for Gen C. I really don't remember about Gen Z next. I think it was 2 to 3 people, not more than that. I really can't remember at that time. Okay. Now let's come to TCS Digital. Okay. Sorry. Any doubts? I'm audible. Raghav.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Bhaiya, you are audible.
Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, let's come to TCS Digital. Uh, it was actually one of my dream companies because if you actually see over the package, it is nearly about 7 LPA, okay, plus 60K of joining bonus, but it would be given to you when you would crack the Explore exam. So your eventually your package becomes 7.6 LPA. In our time, they came for nearly about three times. First with Code Vita, I really don't remember. Like in your time, they actually conducted Code Vita or not, but in our time they actually conducted the same. Maybe in the upcoming months they would conduct. So do remember that you would be given with 6 questions. They are coding questions, and what you have to do, you have to crack 1 or 2 questions over there. Nearly, just try to code 2 questions. Okay. After that, if you successfully make it on, you would get selected for the interview. If your interview doesn't go that well, they will reject you. If your interview goes for level 1, like you are not good with DSA, data structures and algorithm, or maybe machine learning or advanced technology, data science, machine learning, cloud computing, blockchain, you're not that much familiar with these, you would be given a ninja profile. Okay, let's say you are very much familiar with data science, cloud computing, and all these stuffs. You will surely be given a digital profile through Code Vita. This is the process of Code Vita. I really don't know whether what is going about the Code Vita right now. Okay, but still, hope for the best. Maybe in the upcoming months they would conduct. Okay, and I got to know on 6th August, TCS Digital is coming in the campus. Okay, so TCS Digital, what they would do, they would surely ask you about the aptitude. Okay, recording is going on. Okay, that's good. Okay, they will ask you about the aptitude, basic English, you all know in the aptitude English and everything, reasoning, and I think they will show after that, after a day maybe, they would conduct a coding round for you. This is what happened in our time. uh, Day first they actually conducted the exam for aptitude English and everything. On day second they actually conducted the exam for coding. Okay, in the coding they actually had 2 questions. If you able to crack even one, you would be get selected for the interview for TCS Digital. Also, the aptitude for TCS is a little bit difficult. Do remember this thing, that you need to prepare for hard aptitude questions like last year aptitude questions. What you have to do, like now I think you are nearly left with 2 weeks, so you have to prepare hard for TCS Digital for sure, because aptitude questions are not going to be that easy for sure. What you need to do, you need to practice 150 questions daily. 50, let's say you just uh, take up on a topic, let's say time and distance, just practice for 50 questions up there. After that, practice 50 questions of mixed component, mixed like date and time, distance and travel and everything. Okay, and 50 questions of last year TCS questions. You will actually get those questions in the drive which Eddie Minner will provide you afterwards, or you can also refer YouTube, and there are many channels which are actually going to help you in this process. Okay, what's next? Let me remember one thing. Okay. Hmm. In the coding round, coding questions would be somewhat like they come up with in the code beta. Okay, so in coding questions, your questions would be like a story type. Let's say this person changes a bulb, or there may be these many stairs and this and that. So questions would be somewhat like this. They won't ask you high level DSA for sure, but do remember their questions are tricky. It takes time to think about the question. It takes time to code about the question. Okay, so it will take you 15, 20, or maybe half an hour to crack a single question, or maybe an hour. Okay, so this is the process which goes on with TCS digital thing. I'll shortly get back to you the question, what amount of people do TCS have for the digital cadre and ninja cadre. Okay, now let's come to the special NQT hiring. In NQT hiring, what happens? The level for the aptitude and everything would be hard for sure. It would be between medium and hard. Questions uh, would be really very good. Also, let's say you get selected in NQT, and let's say you are not being the toppers among the toppers. What topper is? If you actually get under 90%, 90 percentile, you would get selected as a topper for the same. After that, let's say you are not in that category, you would be selected for the ninja interview. In the ninja interview, they will surely ask you about basics of programming languages for sure. Interview is going to be easy, no worries in that. Okay, they will ask you about programming language, and not not more than like half an hour. They would just conduct for half an hour and somewhat for your projects and everything. Okay, after projects, if you actually could able to crack that interview, you would get selected for Ninja. And again, the thing which goes on, like your interview doesn't go that well, you won't get selected for any of the profiles. Okay, now let's come to the another thing, which is 90 percentile, which means like you are among 10% people which are toppers. So you would be given a chance to code two questions, and those two questions will surely come from GFG, Geek for Geeks. And do remember to practice lot of questions from GFG. Those questions would be between easy and medium. These questions not like comes with in code vita and special digital hiring. These are simple questions which are based on arrays, strings, and number systems. The two questions which came in my exam was one based on number system and one was an array. One was of medium level and second one was of easy level. Okay, let's say you could able to crack both the questions. And do remember, if you really want to get selected for digital cadre in the NQT exam, you need to do both the questions for the coding. Okay, if you're able to crack two questions in NQT exam, you would be get selected for digital interview. And in digital interview, now do remember one thing: simple HTML and CSS and web development won't help you much. You must know about the digital technologies, which is machine learning, data science, cloud computing, blockchain. You must have somewhat knowledge of this. And people who are working on data science, you guys are very lucky. Interview for you people is like very easy. It's going to be very easy. They will ask you about the projects, your projects, somewhat knowledge of machine learning and everything. And after that, they will, you can simply say like, I don't have that much knowledge about blockchain or cloud computing, but you have just started about these, learning about these technologies. So you can say that I have some introductory knowledge of the same. So they will surely ask you about the basic questions. You don't have to worry about that. If your interview goes really very well, okay, you would surely be get selected for digital. And do remember, your confidence level should be really very good for the digital category. And let's say your interview doesn't go that well, even after selected for digital interview, you again come upon Ninja, and same goes on like not well than Ninja, then you won't get selected. Okay. Now the best thing is you are very lucky that you are in BVCOE because for TCS, BVCOE is under premium colleges, which is compared to NITs and NSITs, NSUT, sorry. So last year they actually hired 70 plus students, which is actually a great number. Like 70 plus people having package more than 7 LPA. Okay, and after that you have a chance to make it till 7.6 LPA for the first year, and I really don't know what happens in the second year. Okay, so you can able to crack 7.6 LPA with these things, and the hiring amount was 70 plus, and hiring amount for hiring number of ninja people was nearly about 109. Okay, 109 plus 70, it's nearly about 180 people. Okay, TCS going to hire 180 people, maybe this year too. Okay, and seven out of after that 70 are going to be digital, and rest of them with the ninja. Also with TCS, you would be granted with lifetime job security. Okay, if you really don't break their policies, they will never like terminate you. Okay, so they have really great policies with job securities, and they have many uh, good things. Also, yes, TCS is growing with a very well pace, and also like I actually asked some of my uh, people which are actually working in TCS, and projects are getting really very good. Okay, they are getting projects from GE Motors, BMW, Google, and banking sectors from Canada, New York, Europe. So things are getting really very good with TCS, and I really hope, like, I really want, like, we have nearly 65 plus people here, and I really want, like, you guys can crack TCS Digital for sure. Just do remember to work on latest and digital technologies. Okay, this would surely be helpful for all of you. And that's it. I think I can take quick doubts right now if any one of you have quick doubts for Cognizant, Comviva, or TCS. I think no one has any doubts. That's great. Okay, Vaibhav, I think this much is from my side. I think I have included each and everything about Cognizant, Comviva, and TCS Digital. If you really want, I can share my interview experience with you all.
Yes, sure, Bhaiya. I think everyone who has any question, please feel free to post your questions in the chat box.
Yes, yes.
Also, if you are facing any trouble in posting any question in the chat box, please let us know because right now I'm also not able to see the chat box. So, anyone from the backup team, Kunal, could you please check if we have the chat box ready for everyone?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so let me share my experience with Thesis Digital, my interview experience with Thesis Digital. So what happens there? There would be three rounds, and three rounds will be combined in one round only. It will be included of technical round, managerial round, and HR round. Okay. So at first they will surely ask you about your introduction, what certificate courses you have done till now, what projects and everything. In my case, my projects were actually with industry experts people. I did some projects with TCS people only, and some startup too, like Ola and Uber. Okay, I did some projects for their competitions too. So my projects were really very exciting. I did a project for Ola and Uber delivery partners, and it was a machine learning project, and I think that one was really impressive for the interview. So they asked me about my about my this one of the project. Also after that they actually asked me about DBMS things. So that's why I told you that DBMS is going to be really very important for the interview purpose. Like in every interview, even in Comviva and Cognizant, they ask me about DBMS for sure. Okay, they asked me about DBMS. After that, they asked me about OOPS concepts. In ThoughtWorks too, if you're really good with Android development, oops and everything. I'm audible now. I think
Yes,
someone
yes.
muted me. Okay. Okay, where was I? Oh. In ThoughtWorks, they actually ask you Android development, object-oriented programming, and more of the things like in the development of mobile apps. So I'm not that much great with. Okay, you are 20, you won't be able to continue facility. Okay, I think there is some issue. Okay, I think it's fine. Okay. So in ThoughtWorks, you have to be good with everything. After that, only you would get selected for the ThoughtWorks. The package for ThoughtWorks is nearly 8 LP. Okay, let me come to my interview experience. Okay, after that, they actually asked me in which programming language I am proficient with. I'm really good with Python. I'm doing Python for near about 3 years now. Okay, and after that they actually asked me about basics of Python and comparison between Java and C++. After that they actually asked me about cloud computing. So basics, I said that.
You are again.
Okay. Huh. They asked me about programming languages and asked me in which programming language I'm proficient with. I simply said that I'm good with Python. There's some issue.
I think there are some problem with chat box. So till we are actually doing it, so anyone who has any problem, you guys can also unmute yourself one by one and also ask any question. I think Bhaiya
Yes,
will
yes.
be very, very like love to just answer your question. So don't feel any hesitancy or like don't feel any anxiety. So yeah, Bhaiya, over to you. You can talk about your experience.
Okay. So again, um, they asked me about my professional language and everything. They asked me about comparison between Java and C++. After that, they actually asked me about introduction level of cloud computing and everything. Also, the main test they actually took for me, they actually asked me just rate yourself out of 10, how much you would give yourself out of 10. And I actually said that I will give myself 9 out of 10. And they actually asked why you actually deducted 1 mark for yourself. I simply said that there are some questions which I really don't know. That's why I simply gave myself 9. And for and they actually said that if we give you 6 out of 10, what would you do? I simply said I will surely ask what for what reasons you are giving me these marks. So they were actually checking my confidence level, like how much confident I am. They actually asked the same questions from other people, like what you want, ninja or digital. Okay, if we actually give you ninja profile, would you join the company? And some people said no, some people say yes, we are confident joining ninja profile. Okay, so they were actually checking like how much confident you are for the digital position. You have to be that much confident, right? So even most of the people really get really got rejected out of these questions. There's some issue with the mic and camera.
I think you should make everyone attendee because there might be someone who is muting everyone.
Okay, Raghav, is everything with somebody's muting you? Okay, Weber, please look into this.
Yeah, I have told the team, and we are actually making only two people till we are actually just completing this. Guys, I just request you
Okay, if anyone has any questions, you can surely ask me.
You're not able to see the chat box, you can one by one unmute yourself and ask your questions. Um, till everyone is asking, I have one question I want to ask because next month we would be having our TCS exam.
Yes, I know.
So, Bhaiya, I want to ask one thing, like as we will be preparing for the digital exam, so how much time should we actually spend on these subjects, like the subjects related to the placement, like DBMS or the OOPS or anything like this? I think you are getting my question.
Okay, they are surely going to be help you in the interview for sure. Okay, and once you get about DBMS and DBMS concepts and OOPS concepts, you don't have to go that deep in these topics. You have to prepare for the introductory level in DBMS. Like what is in your syllabus? You are in the 7th semester now. Okay, in DBMS you just have to prepare only your syllabus. Okay, I really can't remember DBMS right now, but do remember that you don't have to go that deep in these topics. Okay.
Okay,
And
sure.
also
Um,
in oops,
Sir,
you don't have to go that deep. They will not ask you those questions like if you will give in this situation or that situation. They will surely go with the concept. Like I really want to know about this concept in the oops, and you just have to define that. Okay, not that much deep. Don't worry about that.
okay, so I'm hoping a 1 month preparation would be enough for that.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Okay, that's cool. So, anyone else who wants to ask any question, or should we actually move forward with other speakers from different other companies?
sir,
Yes,
Yes,
Harbhajan, you are
Harbhajan.
audible.
yes, sir. Sir, what kind of data structures problems we should prepare for TCS
Okay,
NQT?
you don't actually have to prepare DSA like this data structure algorithm for TCS. What I said, you just have to practice the question from number systems, arrays, and strings. They really won't ask you that high level DSA question like how Amazon do, how Microsoft do. Okay, and in the digital exam, which is the special hiring of digital, they will going to ask you about like tricky questions. What I just said, a person changed a bulb, okay, somewhere, somewhat about staircases, and somewhat like this. There would be a storyline for special digital hiring. It would be somewhat similar to Comigo, but again, timing for the same would be 1 hour only, and it becomes really hard to crack even one question in 1 hour. Okay, so what you can do, you can simply go on GFG and look on last year Comviva questions. Don't look on special digital hiring questions. You won't able to find that good amount of questions. Just go on for the Comviva questions. Sorry, code Vita questions. Okay, and you would able to find good amount of questions there. In NQD, they were surely going to ask you simple basic questions, which would be between medium and easy. One question would be really very easy, and one question would be medium level. Okay, in my case, the question from number system was of medium level, and one question was an array based, and it was really very easy. Okay, and if you're able to crack both of the questions in NQD, you would get selected for the digital interview. And if you're able to crack one question in special digital hiring, you get selected for the digital interview. But I'm not really sure what happened now. Okay, what is going to happen on 6th August in your hiring? This is what I'm telling about my experience, what happened with us.
I had a question. So for students who come from computer science or IT, so we have to study C, then C++ and Java. So
No,
should we
not.
like be proficient in all the languages, or can you just pick one and be, thorough with it and do OOPS concept and DSA in that only? Or will they
Yes.
ask questions from other languages too?
Yes, you don't have to worry about all of the programming languages. Like if you really ask any of the developer or any of the programmer, they will simply say like you can pick any one of a programming language and do proficient level of that thing. Okay, what in the interview they will surely going to ask. Let's say you actually did a compiling language. Okay, C, Java is a compiled language, and Python is an interpreted language. They will surely ask difference between compiled language and interpreted language. They will surely going to ask you between difference between Java and Python. I think this is a one day thing you can prepare in a single day. Okay, you don't have to worry about each and every program like a C, C++, C Sharp. There are a lot of languages. Okay, but the thing is, nowadays Python is going really very well with TCS. You can prepare with Python. It is more than enough, and Java would do the same. You don't have to worry.
Actually, I have a question. Since we know that TCS is a service-based company,
Yes.
I want to know the digital profile. What is the like growth for a person? Like, how can I see in 5 years I will be if I
Okay.
have digital
Sure,
profile?
sure, sure. This is a good question. Okay. This is what nowadays I'm searching for. Like after 5 years, what would be my salary? What would my growth in a company? Somewhat like that. Okay. Let's say you get selected in TCS in digital profile. Okay. So the rule of IT industry is after taking. Okay. I'm audible now.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are.
Okay. Okay. So the IT industry rule is after 3 years your salary will get double. Okay. If you switch from the company, let's say you actually come up with 7 LP of package, and after taking 3 years of experience, your package will surely be nearly between 12 LPA to 14 LPA. Okay. And let's say you actually got selected for the Ninja profile, which is nearly about 3.365 LPA. Okay. So after 3 years, you know very well how much is your package is going to. Let's say you are just thinking of to stay in TCS for lifetime, and you are just looking to stay in Ninja, and let's see after how many times you get the digital profile. Okay, it will take you nearly about 6 to 7 years to get to the system engineer profile, which is digital profile. Okay, then only you will able to get 7 LP of package in TCS itself. And in TCS itself, the growth, I would say that the growth in TCS is not going to be that great for you. Okay, it is between um, appraisal of 6% to 12% per year. Okay, so let's say you get selected for digital profile, you can expect nearly about 50,000 of increment after every year. Okay, so I think also, let me talk about the projects. What I've heard till now, that Ninja Profile is getting a lower grade laptops, and Digital Profile is getting Dell Latitude laptop, which are higher grade laptops, 16 GB RAM and everything. Okay, so for sure, digital people are actually getting selected for GE Motors, which is actually make parts for BMW and Audi. Okay, most of one of the person which I know, he's from Bangalore. He got selected for the Google project. Okay, he just have to report in the Google location, Google Bangalore. Okay, so this is what I heard from the digital profiles. These are from people from Bangalore, Assam, and everywhere. Okay, they actually got joining much earlier from us because the exams actually got ended early. So of course, digital profile is going to be really very good. Till now, I've heard really positive reviews about digital profile. As you all know, teachers is growing with a very good pace, uh, leading behind Accenture, Wipro, and everywhere. Okay, so teachers getting really very good projects from banking sectors, from motors like vehicle motors, and everywhere. So you can expect somewhat good with digital profile for sure.
The question, Meghdoot. And guys, if you anyone else who has any question, please stick to the end. We will be having a live Q&A session. Right now, we also have another speakers from different other
Yes.
companies, so we want to move forward. If it is possible, Bhaiya, please stick with us till the end of the session so
Sure,
that we
sure,
can
sure,
address other questions.
sure, sure.
So, over to you, Raghav. We can move forward.
So yeah, that was such a great session, sir. It was insightful. Now I would like to welcome our two alumni. First one is Miss Ishika Agarwal, who is placed in ZS and was a research intern at IIT Delhi. Before that, she was an intern at All E Technologies, where she worked on machine learning and deployed models using Flask API. And our second alumnus is Miss Manveen, who is placed in EY, and she was also a trainee intern at NIIT Limited. She successfully made a review paper which was an IoT based air pollution monitoring system, and she has an expertise in Arduino, Java, and Android Studio. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Raghav, for this introduction. This is Ashaka this side. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this has to be one-to-one conversation. You guys don't have to worry about that. If you have any queries in between, you can just unmute yourself and ask the questions. I'm here to share my journey to ZS with you. ZS was the first company to visit on the campus in the month of August last year. So this is a basically non-tech organization. It provides you a package of 8.93 lakhs. So that is a decent for a start. And so while preparing for ZS, you have a video round where ZS people will come and tell you about the profiles that they are offering. So we have three basic profiles like BOA, that is Business Operation Associate, Business Technological Associate, and Decision Analyst. So you have to be very wise in choosing your profile, because as per the policy you can apply for just one profile. So the profile that I applied for was Business Operation Associate. So I have been selected for the same BOA role. So in ZS, you have three rounds. It is a tedious process, but yeah, it is soft to go. So the first round will be basically aptitude round. So here the people test you upon your aptitude, and like you will have 40 minutes. There will be questions related to arithmetic topics like time, work, speed, time, distance. So you should brush up on these topics, as we have left them in the 10th standard and have not gone back through these topics. So you should give some time to these topics. Max half an hour a day would be enough. And you should also work on grammar and other topics like that. So in the aptitude round, you will have questions for 40 minutes. It would be of 40 minutes, where you will have questions on aptitude. Other than this, you will have 5 questions where you will have to record your answers. These questions will be based on your journal life experiences. So basically, people are trying to see your thought process and your decision making abilities. So questions can be like if you tell me about your best experience, tell me about your worst experience, and questions like that. There can be some questions based on guess estimates. So a question that is generally asked is, if you have an aeroplane and you have to fill it with tennis balls, how many tennis balls will you require? So these questions, you do not have to be precise to the answers, but you have to work with numbers basically. You have to tell them like, this is the area of the aeroplane. I'm considering it to be a cone, cylinder, and shapes like that. And calculating that that area according to balls in that time span of 3 minutes will help you answer the question more efficiently. So basically, they are going to test your confidence, your answering skills, and that all that stuff. So this will be the first round. So after the first round, you will have a second round that will be a case study round. So this is a very important round. If you guys have been a participant of the ZS Campus Weeks, you must be knowing about the case study round. They provide you a case study that is a bit harder on the tougher side, but here you will get a easier case study. So my in my case, the case study was around like, if you have there was a pen company, a premium pen company. So we were asked to draw the project overview of launching a new pen in the market, or if the managers are not satisfied with the salary and the bonuses, how should they work on that? How should the company work on that so that they can satisfy their managers? You will be given some bar charts, pie charts, and stuff like that. So before the second round, you will have time of 10 days. So what you should do is, in that fixed period of time, you should brush your concepts on DI, data interpretation topics, that are pie charts, bar charts, so that you are just easy to go with numbers and the figures and the how to interpret data basically. That will help you in the go. So after you are done with this case study round, you will have to explain each and every of your answer to the ZS HR manager who will be contacting you once the second case study round is done. Here he will be testing you on your confidence and how efficiently did you answer your questions. You can ask them about your company, like don't be like it has a good package, so I want to join the company. You should know about the company, what it is providing you, and where it can take you to, so that the company feels like you are going to be an asset to the company. So yeah, that was the second round with. And finally, if you get selected in the second round, on the same day you will get a call for the interview. So in this interview round, you will be directly connected to ZS manager. So here he will ask you questions about your, maybe it can be related to BTech, it can be related to anything. So here from me, they asked a question like, you should be very precise in whatever you are answering. If you answer like, I love playing cricket, the next question can come up to you from the same domain. Like he can ask you how many runs can be scored, because there have to be some guess estimate questions. He can ask you about how many people are watching the tournament, how many pictures are clicked. For me, they asked like how many selfies are clicked in the auditorium at that moment. So you don't have to precise with the numbers. They are just going to test your how interpretation skills, how you are going to present your answer in that sequence. So this will be the third round, and sooner or later you will be able to get your results on the same. So for me, ZS helps you work in the topologies like Tabuli and basically data interpretation skills. So you have to be very confident in whatever you are answering. They are going to test your thought process. You should work on your aptitude if you're going to work for ZS. And whatever you answer, you need to be confident on that. So if you have any questions, you can ask.
Hello, Shika.
Yeah.
I want to ask if all the three profiles are offered in a college, and if the salary of the three are same.
Yeah. Yeah, so ZS basically offers these three profiles. The salaries are same. They will tell you about each and every profile in the video round they will be conducting for the introduction of the company. So that whichever profile suits you, you can choose that according to that.
And about interview,
Yeah.
when the final round interview, what kind of questions were you asked? I mean, can you discuss more in detail about the interview?
Yeah, sure. So in the interview round, this has to be like they will firstly ask you questions about your resume. So you have to maintain a good resume. You should have projects. They will from me they ask you questions if you are given a vague data and you are asked to collect all that data and you don't have to do other work, how will you can get some benefit to the company from that? So you can just tell them that you will work on Tableau and techniques like that. You can give some insights on the data that could be helpful to the company. So they are just going to see how much you are dedicated to the company. Second question can be related to what I said. It could be related to guess estimates. Like from me, they asked the question, if you like playing badminton, there is a tournament of two people that is going on. How many pictures would be clicked in that tournament? So they are not just going to check how you what you have, don't have to give them the correct number, but they are just going to see how you proceed with your answer. What is your thought process? What is your way of dealing with questions? That is what they are going to check. They can be questions on what are your favorite subjects. Like if your DBM is oops, these are your favorite subjects, or if you include them in your answers, the interview can drive it to that way. So basically, in any interview, you are driving the interviewer to whatever question he asks. So you should be very thorough in whatever you are answering. if you're including DBMS in your answer, you should be thorough with the topic. So because the next question will come up from where you left. So I think Eva, that answers your question.
Yeah, right. So as you mentioned that there's a lot of guesstimates and such kind of questions also about the subject. Can you suggest any resources available which help you in the preparation?
Yeah, sure. So basically, what I did in my time was go through YouTube. There are a lot of questions from the IIMs and places like that where you will get how to answer guess estimates, how to deal with these questions. There are many interviews and people are from the IIMs, so you that can help you. Other than this, for the case study also, you should. I don't remember exactly where I took 2-3 case studies from, but you will get to know the case study challenges from the ZS campus beats. Take that from your from someone who has already attended the session, or if you have, that is a plus point. So go through case studies, because I feel that is the most important part of the journey. If you're done with the case study challenge in a good way, you will be able to proceed further for the HR round. So just be thorough with the case study. Prepare for if you're preparing for MBA, you surely would have done DI and LR. But if you are not, you should work on DI basics like pie charts, bar charts, and other DI topics. And that can help you to solve the case study in an efficient way. Rest, you can go to Pep Bites and all these sites where you can just face prep, where you can get some material related to ZS.
Yeah, I have a does provide any technical background job, like coding, SWE type profiles?
You are not audible. Can you pardon, please?
Yeah, I want to ask, is there any technical profile that ZS provides for, like, example, SDE type jobs, software developer?
Okay. So no, as far as I know, it provides a profile of this. What was that for data engineering? Other than that, it has all non-tech profiles. In the job role, you will be asked to work on on Python and other languages like that. But in the interview process, there won't be something like some tech questions or something like that.
So what should be the skill set for these profiles? I should learn what type of technologies or other non-tech things. Can you please tell me?
Okay, so in my case, I have a background in machine learning. I have worked on Python. I am thorough with my projects on the same. So I believe that working on Tableau and techniques or Power BI, these require some knowledge of Python and stuff. So that would be good to go if you're thorough with Python, because Python is the most in programming language right now. So other than this, you should have a good resume. Basically, you should have 1 or 2 internships that makes you that makes the other person believe that you have a knowledge of the environment, of the work environment. You know how to deal with situations. That is what they are looking forward to. They are not looking forward to for someone who is proficient in Java, C++, because in any company you will be taught what you are going to work on. So in any company that is from the non-tech profile, they are just looking forward for people who are dedicated to that company and who have the learning ability, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions?
When ZS conducts their exam.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
You're
So ZS conducts its exam. R was in the first week of August, and the second round was around I guess 15th August. So it is a 10-day gap in between after your results are out for the first round. So it will be somewhere in the August. And ZS is a big company. It is working in the pharmaceutical domains. It is working with big companies like Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson. It is a basically consulting based company. So it has 28 offices all over the world right now, and 2 in India. One is in Pune, one is in Gurgaon. So it is a fast growing company. It came for recruitment twice last year. It took 6 to 8 students in the first round, and second round results are not out yet. It is doing hiring on a really high rate because the company is growing at a very high rate right now because of the COVID pandemic situations. As the medical domain is rising to its peak, so the company is also rising to its peak. Yeah. Further more questions?
I think that was it, and thanks a lot, ma'am. You answered very greatly. I think we
Thank you very
should
much.
move forward, and please stick till the end so that we can address more questions if we have.
Yeah, sure,
All,
sure, sure.
thank you, ma'am. Okay, so Raghav, over to you. We can move forward.
Yeah, that was an insightful session, ma'am. Now, we would also like to ask Manveen, ma'am, on how it is different and similar for EY company. Manveen, ma'am, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Raghav. Am I audible and visible?
Ma'am, not visible yet.
Just a second. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am, now you are visible.
okay. Thank you for the introduction, Raghav. Hello, everyone. I'm Manveen from Electronics and Communication Department, 2017 batch, almost a graduate of BVCOE now. And today I will be sharing with you the experience of my placement drive. So firstly, I'm going to start off by telling how good of an opportunity you guys are getting by EduMinerva, that you guys are here to learn more about the companies and the placement process, how it's done in various companies and stuff like that. So it's great, and I'm myself very thrilled about it. So as you guys are already aware, I got placed in EY, and it's been quite a journey ever since. And there were two profiles that were offered to me and to us all, and which were tech consulting analyst and one was risk consulting analyst. I went for risk consulting. So without further ado, I'll quickly just jump procedure that was followed by the company from the beginning. So starting from the eligibility criteria, right? Eligibility criteria for our assessment was 80% in class 10th and 12th and aggregate of 70% in BTech. Of course, till the on semester and with no pending backlogs, of course. Now, this opportunity was again open to all of us, all the departments, be it CSC, IT, and everything. Everyone was allowed. Of course, eligibility criteria was mandatory, and then also through these criterias, company schedules a where they brief you about the company, work environment, the opportunities, and stuff like that. You will get a brief of how it works, the job profiles, and after this PPT, there's a 70-minute aptitude test. For us, in our case, both of them fell on the same day, one after the other. As soon as the PPT ended, within half an hour, all the eligible candidates got the link to the test, and thereafter we started with it. So let's talk about the test, right? It will mainly be based on 4 major sections, like other speakers also mentioned, the aptitude tests. You are already aware of English, quantitative, reasoning ability, and situational strength. It depends on the job profile that is offered, right? The situational strength will definitely affect your whatever you're going for in the job profile. And essentially, the object of numerical reasoning in any MNC that they take their test is that they want to examine your numerical literacy, right? And your ability to make correct decisions. Now, be it from numericals or statistical data, you have to analyze the data that is presented in terms of graphs, charts, and everything. And as far as numericals are concerned, you will be mainly required to perform standard high school arithmetic calculations and charts, ratios, percentages, data compressions, data interpretation, and so on and so forth. You know all of this. And there are a few basic prerequisites that I thought you might need to know about. What you can all do is, do a recap of math calculations. Like I just mentioned, ratios, probabilities, basic everything. You can get great help online, or there are separate book of each sections, and all of these can be of great help. You can use practice tests with timers. Like with timing your tests is one of the major things that you need to do while preparing for any test, not only EY, but for any aptitude test that you're going to give for other MNCs as well. And, one thing I would like to say, that start practicing as soon as you apply for the job. Do not leave it until after you receive the application confirmation or the college announces you with the list. Just be prepared while you're through it, and rather be pre-prepared even before applying, or that this is your goal. Just preparing itself, because procrastination is one thing which we learn. So try avoiding that. And yeah, never exceed your time allowance. Try to finish ahead of time so you can get back to the questions that you might have doubt, and you just have enough time to look at what you've done and just be sure of it. So try to finish ahead of time. That is one thing. And yes, while practicing, you do not have to practice a large variety of tests to improve your numerical reading skills. Just try focusing on a handful tests, but repeatedly, right? The more you practice those handful topics that you know, that you are sure of, you can just do it then. Practicing 100 other topics which might not be of any good at the end of the day. So just try focusing on the handful of tests and just practice repeatedly. Of course, with the time constraint. That is one thing very important. And now, once you're through the test, you will be called in for a group discussion round. Mind you, in our time, these things took place back to back, like one day after the other. 5th January was our test, online test, and then 6th January, the people who cleared it were called in for GDs. So that way, it's one day after the other. It's in campus placement. And now once you're through the test, you will be called for GD. The topics will be simple and will be of areas which is everyone is aware of those areas. The topics will be mainly from recent headlines. You all may know what GD is. I really don't think I have the need to explain what GD is. But such examples are like COVID-19, impact of COVID-19 on economy, Bangalore traffic, corruption, demonetization, such topics. This is common not only for EY, but for most MNCs, like I said. This is one thing. Just be aware of your surroundings. Even if you haven't prepared that specific topic that has been called for in the GD, at least you will be aware and you will be, able to talk about and revolve around the topic. You will be at least participative. Just be aware. And since you know that at the back of your mind, if you're through the test, you will have to sit in the GD. So again, not only aptitude, prepare yourself for the GD and the upcoming personal interview also if you get selected for that. And in my opinion, for GDP, especially us freshers, we tend to misinterpret the concept of a GD. You guys should know that sole intent of GD is to see, recruiters see that you speak with confidence, right? It is a skill which will be finally used in your day-to-day life as an analyst or as a consultant. And it should not be a debate where you have to prove your point by being passive aggressive. That should not be done. It is rather about how elegantly you put your point in front of the recruiters. That's what they seek after all. And then majority of companies focus on a person being proactive and responsive throughout the session. And of course, that is what we need at the end of the day. And finally, if you make it through GD round, you will enter the final personal interview round. Now, depending on the recruiters, you may have multiple personal interview rounds as well. In my case, I had 2 rounds, but I also know a few people of my batch who had 3 personal interview rounds. So it might be an on-the-spot decision that they might have taken or something. nobody was prepared to have 3 person interview rounds, but yet we got them. And 2 rounds can be like, one is a separate technical interview round, and then one is the HR round followed by the HR round, like that. So if it's a technical profile, you will be asked about the technical aspects that revolves around the job. So you need to know about your profile well. And the same thing goes for non-technical aspects. Now, this is something that you guys are already aware of. You are like very smart to know all of this. So if you look up online, you will get plethora of amount of questions that are asked, be it technical, be it non-technical, and majority of them give you as to what level of questions are asked and what come. So you just need to know and be aware of those, what kind of questions and everything, so you can prepare yourself. Online stuff is very helpful, and of course you can reach out to seniors and how their experience was while their interview. And yeah, there were just basic questions, but you need to be prepared and look it up online. Like, of course, like the other speaker, the Panshu mentioned, and Ishika also mentioned that technical aspects you might be asked about DBMS, that is for sure. DBMS comes through it, and they will of course ask you about your resume. Everything you write in your resume is one thing that they will point out and ask you about. So be prepared with whatever there is in your resume. That is one thing. Now, being well prepared will definitely impress the interviewer. It will be evident that you've spent time thinking about your achievements, because no one wants to be let down on coming so far, right? So make sure adequate preparation is done, and all in all, while giving the interview, make you know about your profile, make sure you know about your company that you are applying for, and just be confident you will surely get the job you'll always dreamed of. And I hope using these strategies, you will be well prepared at the end of the day. And for all the tests, for all the interviews, even the most challenging ones, you should just know what you're doing. Once you surpass the test, after your confidence, knowledge, and you don't be overconfident, that is one thing that the recruiters hate, absolutely hate. You should know what you're speaking, and you should know if you are saying a particular answer, that again counteracted by the same topic that you've answered. So try not to go into the direction that you are not sure of. Just pick those subjects and answer very smartly, so that if there's a counter question, you are able to answer it. Apart from all this, our college BVP tries best to give you a decent job at the end of the day. You do not have to worry. Try your best when it comes to your dream jobs, but else you will get somewhere if you work hard enough. And feel free to reach out for any other questions. Again, I would like to thank Edumina for giving me this opportunity, and that will be all from my side.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. So anyone who has any question, you can ask right away. Ma'am will surely address your questions. Okay, so I also wanted to ask one question on behalf of everyone. So, as you said, like a resume would be like one thing that we should actually be more focused on, because it would be a very crucial thing. So, if someone who's actually applying for non-tech profile and actually doesn't have anything to showcase in their resume, because they have already done something in technical, but they might never have done like something related to case study or like something related to risk analysis job. So what they should do in that way?
Okay, totally. Wherever I can like relate to you, because us being in B, we have to somehow do tech things and ultimately write what we've actually done in our resume. I think you should go for whatever you've actually done. Make sure that you also do, if you really want to go for a non-technical side for the job, you make sure that you still have something or the other to say or to write at least, so that it can back you up, even if it's some society work, even if it's some social work, even any extracurricular is also considered as a non-technical thing that you've done for yourself to improve your personality and everything. So these things then count. And yes, even if you've applied for non-technical job, they will question your interview. They will question your resume in the interview for once, because they will also want to know whether you, whatever you've written, at least you know about it. So there's no particular entirely necessary that you have to put a lot of non-technical things in your resume in order to get a technical job. The recruiters very well know that you are from an engineering background. You have to do technical things in order to surpass your course, right? So you just basically know everything that you're writing in your resume. Just don't put a false information. Do put up everything you've done. Do not ignore any extra effort that you made. Okay, this is not worthy enough to put in resume. Just be confident whatever's there in your resume, and do a little extracurricular, if not something entirely non-technical. That is enough. And ultimately, if we're talking about non-technical jobs, they know you are skilled enough to do the job, but they really looking for is a good personality at the end of the day, which I think you guys will probably have time you are sitting in placements. I think that.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. It answers it perfectly. Okay, so anyone else who has any question, or shall we move forward? Okay, sure. So, ma'am, please stick till the end. If we have any questions, we can address. Also, Raghav, we can move forward. Okay.
Yeah, that was a wonderful session, ma'am. All the points are made pretty clear. Yeah, so our next illuminist is Miss Surmai Soumya, who is data analyst at Publish Sapient. She is also a writer at UX Planet, and she has also worked as a user experience researcher and a user interface designer at Codefree. I would like to welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi everyone. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let's start this session. Hi, I am Surmai, and I am also a recent graduate of the CSE department of our college. A recent graduate means quite recent, like we graduated 2 days back, I guess. So yeah. I was placed at Publicis Sapient as a junior associate data analyst. And this is not a core technical job, and that is what I was looking for. So without further ado, let's just start with the interview process and how it all came around. So Publicis Sapient came to our college very early. It was probably in the last week of September of 2020. And the eligibility criteria for the same was the students should be from CSE, IT, or ECE, and they should have at least 60% throughout 10th, 12th, and their BTech. So if you are meeting these criteria, then you're good to go. Then let's talk about the online aptitude test. It lasted for 2 hours, and it had, like, just like other company online aptitude tests, it had verbal ability, a section of quantitative aptitude. Then we have logical reasoning and also a little bit of technical questions. But these were all MCQs and MSQs. So if you prepared a little bit from the internet about the technical questions, or if you search Google about the questions that are asked in Sapiens online exams, then you are good to go. They were quite easy and weren't a lot difficult. Yeah. So first of all, when you're starting with the online exam, any online exam, you should read through the instructions very carefully, because it had negative marking. Many people weren't sure about it. So if you read it, you'll get to know about the negative marking and which questions are higher marks and which are of lower marks. So you should know about that for starting. Apart from this quant and aptitude, there was one coding question, but it was very simple. The main thing that you have to remember is that the main question, they need something, they need you to optimize, give an optimized algorithm, not a brute force algorithm. So yeah, you have to go through basic algorithms and not higher data structures like trees and graphs. They don't give question like that. They didn't give us to our batch, but I had a question about a bit manipulation, and other people got from arrays and linked lists and just like the basic level of coding, not much hard. Okay. Then after the online test, we were like 49 students were selected, and after that, it I don't remember exactly how many days they gave us for the next round, but yeah, so we were given a call for our technical round. So here the company showed a little bit of lack of transparency in the sense like 49 students were selected, but many of them didn't even get a call for interview. Only about 35 to 39 students got a call for interview. The reason is yet still unknown, and we don't know about that. But yeah, that can happen in your case too. So I will start with the questions that were asked in the technical interview, and I'll go one by one and give you advices about how to answer certain questions also. So let's go. The first typical question that everybody asks is to introduce yourself. So in this, you should briefly state your name, branch, and it should be in one sentence because they already know in which college you are, and because it is a campus drive, so you should not take much time to state your name, branch, and college. It should be in one sentence, and then talk about your past experiences, like the internships you have done or the competitions you have participated in, and you should be thorough with whatever you are saying about your internships because they can cross question you about them. All right. Then try to answer this question and tell them about it. That are you a problem solver? And if yes, then tell them about the process that you actually take to solve a problem. I will give you an example. I said that as a person with creative mind and good design oriented mind, I redesigned Codefree's website. We worked on many concepts parallelly and then ruled them out until the best solution was discovered. So you can see here that I just didn't say that I have a creative mind. I justified it by telling them about my process, how I think, and gave them a real life example about it. So this is how you impress and actually get into their minds. Okay, then after that, you should also state your qualities. So instead of just stating them, you should justify them as well. Okay, and if you are able to relate these qualities of yours with the qualities required for the role that you are interviewing for, then you get brownie points. I will give you yet another example. I said that currently I am working as the publicity head in EduMinerva, and under my leadership, we have hosted many workshops with 100+ attendees. Analyzing reach statistics on Facebook and Instagram is one of the main requirements. Encouraging team members for publicity is another important requirement. I have a small team of 6. I understand the importance of teamwork and good leadership. In this example, you can see that I clearly told them that I have leadership skills, which is a very important quality that people are looking for. And also I told them that I am a team worker and I have worked with a team of 6 under me. So you can see that if you work with societies, you have a edge over other people, because if you want to showcase your leadership skills and give examples, then you have real life examples because of societies and competitions, etc. And you can also notice that in this example, I related my qualities as of analyzing things. Like we analyzed the Facebook analytics and then worked upon them, and then we saw how many people were coming, which people like what kind of content, and because of that we also reached 100+ people. And this is analyzing of data, and my role was also of data analytics. So to some extent, I tried to relate the qualities of the two things. So you can also do this. After that, if you are stating your hobbies, make sure that they are relevant. Trust me, nobody wants to know that you are good, you love playing badminton in a technical interview. And even though you want to say this, just say it in a manner that makes you seem more passionate about it. Like instead of just saying, I love playing badminton, say that I strive to have a healthy work life balance. And so when I want to refresh myself, I enjoy playing badminton. This is the same thing but in a different way, and it will bring a better impact on the interviewer. Also, the one thing more that before the interview you got to do your research. Okay, the research about the company as well as the research about the interviewer. If you know the interviewer, that's good. But if you don't know the interviewer, what you can do is search on LinkedIn about the role that you are applying for, and then search for staff of that company in that roles. Okay, and then you'll find many people, and after that you can actually find out their common interests, and then try to inculcate those qualities or those interests in your production also. So this is one thing, and apart from that, you can research about the company and its core values and try to add those core values into your introduction also. This will give more brownie points to you and it will impress the interviewers. The last thing about the introduction that I want to tell you is that you have to keep it long. You should have multiple points inside your pocket, so that you don't go short of words when the interviewer is looking at you and he is expecting more from you. Okay, so the best case scenario comes when he or she, the interviewer, starts cross questioning you about one of your interests. So they ask. So this is the best case scenario. Until then, until the interviewer don't tells you to stop, don't stop. Like you should have more and more points about yourself. Okay, so that's what happened with me. He started cross questioning me about my past experiences, and since I had a thorough knowledge about all the experiences that I told him, so I was able to go through this very easily. So it wasn't much of a problem for me. So after some questions about my summer internship, he asked me to name some of my favorite CSE subjects. Very typical question. So I just did the easiest of them all, which was OOPS, DBMS, C++. He subjects in second year, and I truthfully told him that in the third year I was more focused on UI UX and I was focused on exploring myself, and that's why I didn't had enough time to actually explore these subjects like ML, AI, etc. So it worked for me. He started questioning me about basic OOPS questions like what is polymorphism and why OOPS, why not another procedural language, what is the difference. These are very common questions and you can look them up on the internet. They are everywhere and you will find them easily. Okay, after this, I didn't encounter any coding or technical question in a technical round. Okay, because I had truthfully told him about my interests. So after that, he asked me some puzzles, like about that water jug problem, which that there are two jugs and you have to fill one to a certain amount. How will you do that? So these kind of questions were asked, and another question was a visual puzzle. He gave me a visual puzzle and I had to draw a symbol according to I had to first detect a pattern and then draw a symbol in a particular place. So it was pattern detection kind of a puzzle. So yeah, you should look up these kind of puzzles on the net before an interview, and many other companies would like to ask these kind of questions. The last question that I was given was a guest so yeah, I want to reiterate that in a guess estimate, your answer, the final answer is not important. The more important is the procedure and the process you take to get to the answer. So they want to know how your mind works and not what answer you actually came up with. If you're able to justify your answer and they are convinced with you, then you're good to go. Okay, so there is no correct answer in a guess estimate. So my technical interview lasted for an hour, and I wasn't expecting the next interview to be on that day only. So 4 hours later, I had to go for my HR interview. In the sense, I had to take my HR interview. So this was the last round HR interview, and it was a round in which we had to frankly talk with the interviewer. He had clearly stated that I don't want to hear anything about your academics or technical knowledge. I want to know about you. So in your introduction, make sure that you are not reiterating your technical and academic knowledge. You should talk more about your hobbies and your interests and your extracurricular. All right. So this should be done in the Publicis Sapiens HR interview. What he did with me was I told like baking. So he started asking me hypothetical questions, hypothetical case scenarios, and asked me how I will deal with them. Like he told me that if you were to have a bakery in the future and you had to deliver some content or to deliver some cakes to your customers, how will you do so? How will you if he asked me that if someone had ordered a large batch of cakes and at the end moment he cancelled the order, what will you do with the cakes? These kind of hypothetical questions were asked. Another question that I also told him about my leadership skills and the things that I have done in EduMinerva. So he asked me about leadership skills, what kind of leader I was, and how do I manage conflicts in workplaces, etc. Okay, so these are questions in the. One thing to note is that look, the people had called our TNP cell and they told them that BBCOE students were doing great in the technical round, but they were failing miserably in the eighth round because they were nervous. So Alok Basu sir actually made all of us to not be nervous and be frank with the interviewer. So I am giving you a start because the interviewer is very frank with you, and you have to understand also a person. You don't need to be very nervous and shaking. You should be very calm about it. All right, so this was my HR round and it lasted for another 1 hour. After that, it was over. The rounds were over. Out of 49 students that were initially selected, only 30 to 35 students were interviewed, and out of that 5 students were selected for the role. So I was one of them and I was really elated. I have already started my work with PS, so yeah, it's going great. Let's see what happens in the future. And one last thing before I leave you guys, remember that just because you didn't get placed in the first few months doesn't mean that you will not get placed till the end. 99% of the people who sign up for placements in our college are placed. You just got to be dedicated and not lose hope. I know people who weren't placed last year in 2020 till December and January also, and now they are placed and have very good packages. So just keep working and all the best. That's it. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Then you can ask.
Hi. Could you please tell me about the probation period which companies have? Like, if you are not able to pass a test and then you have to wait for certain months and then only you can apply. So, do you know anything about that?
So in Publicis Sapient, we have a training period of 3 months. Okay, but in the offer letter, it is written of 6 months. So in this company, you don't have to be afraid of being laid off anything because it has not happened in recently. They train you very well. even I don't have any knowledge about data analytics as such, and I will be learning everything in the training program as well. So yeah, you can say that the probation period or training period is 6 months in this company, and it changes from company to company. It will be written in your joining letter or your offer letter. It usually does not extend more than 1 year. That's what I know.
Can you please tell me how much package it's offer for this profile?
Okay, so data analytics profile in Publicis Sapient is a CTC of 5.2 LPA, and in hand you get 4.8. Is there any more questions? I think.
Yeah, that was all, I guess. I wanted to ask one question, if you mind. So my question was, what kind of projects should we actually include in our resume if we want to actually go for this data analytic job or job profile?
Okay, so nice question, Vaibhav. Actually, in my case, as you know that I am a UI UX enthusiast, I didn't have any any technical projects or any type of data analytics projects in my resume. All I had were some front-end development and some UI UX projects. But since I told them about this, so they found out another method to actually know about my data analytics skills. But you can have experience with Tableau or other business intelligence tools, and if you know about Google Analytics or have projects on Adobe Target, or SQL well and you have projects on that, then it will give you an upper hand.
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot, Dee. So it answers perfectly. Anyone else who has any question, please feel free to ask. Okay, so Raghav, we can move forward. It's over to you.
Yeah, that was a wonderful session, ma'am. Now we will be taking up a Q&A round. So I would request all the attendees to unmute themselves and ask their doubts and queries, like all their doubts, if they have any.
Guys, one by one, you can ask your questions. Also, as you just said, you just see that all of them are seniors, so you don't have to shy away or don't feel like any hesitancy. So you can ask your questions. Just unmute yourself one by one, or you can also raise your hand. We will totally address your questions.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat from Vaibhav Agarwal. Please tell us how was your technical round?
Vaibhav, would you mind if you actually tell us who you are actually directing this question to? Because we have 4 speakers right now. Okay, so anyone else who wants to ask any question, please feel free to ask, or we can move forward and conclude the session. Okay, Raghav, it's over to you. You can move forward.
Yeah, so thank you Ishika ma'am, Dipanshu sir, Manveen ma'am and Surmay ma'am for having a wonderful session and giving us your valuable time. The session helped us gain a lot of information. Yeah. So thank you for getting all our doubts and queries answered. Hope to have more such sessions in the future. And now I would like to thank everyone for being such a great audience. Before leaving, a kind reminder to fill the feedback form and also as announced earlier about our special placement related material, we will be sharing the details regarding it on our WhatsApp group. So whoever is willing to go for it is requested to join our WhatsApp group. The link for the same is shared in the chat box. Yeah, hope to see you soon with another great session. Till then, I Raghav sign off for the day. And to attend more such insightful events, follow us on our social media handles on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thank you and stay safe.